When things get tough, what are the characteristics of a team that actually help it work? Because we're all good at team when it's easy.
Yeah.
What makes it work when it gets tough?
When times get hard and stress is on, it's really an opportunity for the team to either pull together or get torn apart. It's never going to remain the same. It's going to come out the other end much better or probably much worse. And really what, in my mind, keeps a team together to begin with is some alignment around purpose. When things get tough and the stress is on, what you need clarity. And it needs to be simple, right?
You know, for the financial advisors that are going to be at the Above the Line conference, they have their own teams, and sometimes it gets tough within the team just because of things going on, right? Sometimes it's personality issues, sometimes it's volume of work, whatever it is. But also, as soon as they start to engage with a client, they become a de facto team. They're working together with their client, and so they got to be aligned around purpose. So we're stoked that you're coming to this event. We've been gossiping about you like crazy, and so you don't come at this from, I read a bunch of books and spent some time at work and had a couple of employees at some point, and so now I've got ideas. You've been in harm's way. You've been you've been under pressure. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, of course. You know, that's a job where if you want to do that for a living, it needs to be something that you're so passionate about it that you're literally willing to die for it. Because that's probably the hardest part about being a cop is, you know, every single day when you walk out the door, there's someone out there that will, if they get a chance, kill you. They don't know you, they don't know your name, they don't know your family, but they'll kill you because of who you stand for. You know, and I'll probably tell a story, so I won't tell it now because I'll save it for the conference, but I'll tell a story. I almost 2.5 weeks in to my first job when I was a rookie, I almost got shot in the back of the head by a prisoner that we were transporting. I mean, literally, he was trying to slip his cuffs, and if he'd been able to get his cuffs, he would tell us later that he was going to murder us both, me and my partner. And when that was all said and done, my reaction to that wasn't, oh my gosh, I've chosen the wrong profession. My reaction to that was, oh, hell yeah, we're doing something important here, right? It's so important that people are willing to die or kill you because of it. It must matter. Because at this point, now I survived 24 years, and I worked my way up through the ranks, and I was a canine officer and a SWAT officer and a police chief, and you know, we've done lots of things, and I got a lot of stories, right? A lot of good stories, but they all teach a lesson, and it doesn't do you any good if you don't put those lessons to use.
What's the purpose in the work that you do now?
I only want to work with people who feel like their job is stressful, right? They're under stress, the outcomes are critical, and my purpose there is to help them exceed expectations, but do so in an environment where they work with people who love what they do and who they do it with. Because when you have that, it doesn't even feel like work anymore. It's just like, well, this is what we do.
If you had a single piece of advice that you knew that if you told it to advisors that they were going to follow it, absolutely every one of them in the room were going to follow it, what would be the single piece of advice you would give them?
I would say one of the things that we've been talking about today with my client here is about how you stress-proof your processes. And really, it's a 4-step process. And this came from an examination because I used to teach officer survival and defensive tactics. So how do you teach an officer to make decisions in the heat of the moment where if he doesn't make the right decision, he may die or he might go to prison because it's a use of deadly force scenario. And so in analyzing how we used to do that, I came up with a 4-part process, and it's very simple because all the best stuff is, right? And it's really this, is that they should look at everything that they do with an eye towards stress-proofing. And stress-proofing is this. Number 1, clarify. Always try to seek clarity around what it is we want. What's the point? What's the purpose? Why are we doing it? Number 1 is clarity for them and for their people. Number 2 is, once they have clarification, is then simplification. How do we take this thing we're wanting to do, or this idea, or this process, and simplify it as much as possible? Okay? But once they've clarified it and simplified it, the next thing is to magnify the important parts of this thing, whatever this thing is. What's important in my life? What's important in my practice? What's important to my team? So let's spend more time, more energy, more resources on magnifying the important parts. And then once you clarify, simplify, magnify, the next step is always going to be repeat. It's a never-ending process of re-clarifying, re-simplifying, re-magnifying what's important over and over and over again. And just those 4 words, when applied properly, can completely change the nature of what you're doing.